How can unreserved homes and structures be more healthy and safe?
We already know that the Crown underfunds First Nations housing, as reported in this 2022 report by the Auditor General of Canada. Canada owes First Nations billions and billions of dollars. And because most on-reserve homes are uninsurable, homeowners don't have experience with the claims process and restoration services. That's why I met with Darcy McGee from Premier Fire and Flood to discuss on-reserve restoration, how housing managers and their teams and homeowners can access services and funding to help remediate their homes following floods, wildfire evacuations where their houses might be contaminated by smoke, and restoring pelts, hand drums, and other items of cultural significance, including, yes, hockey equipment, which could save First Nations millions of dollars in their regular housing operating budgets. Communities have an opportunity to use the Emergency Management Assistance Program to improve the health and safety of their home. In this video, we're going to talk to Darcy about on-reserve home, school, building restoration following emergencies and disasters. This is Hazardscape, Indigenous Emergency Management.
And they've got people in the community willing to work. You can take them on for specific jobs.
Absolutely.
That'll be good. Okay, so for me, right, because a lot of First Nations can't get house insurance. The homeowners and the housing managers may not be used to making insurance claims like somebody in Calgary or Edmonton or Toronto would. And usually what that process involves is you call your insurance company, they send out a restoration company and a damage assessor, and they project manage the cleanup of the flood, fire, smoke, whatever it is. But because First Nations can't get insurance, they rely on like the housing managers to do that, or the homeowners may not have the experience to know how to renovate a home or fix it, and the band may not have the money. So, go ahead. Okay, we're back after that. So I think it's helpful for nations to get a sense of like the restoration process and what happens in non-Indigenous communities and what those homeowners have access to insurance, because they can get the same access through the Indigenous Services Canada Emergency Management Assistance Program, right? So what's important about, from your experience working with First Nations, like what's important about the restoration process that you'd like them to know about if they've not had experience with it, I think?
Well, first thing is if they're going to use a restoration firm, they need to be ICRC certified.
So that's like a Canadian certification? Okay.
Yeah, it's the body that we all, like they set the rules and the parameters for mold, fires, floods, and stuff like that.
Okay.
So you're going to want to make sure that that's done. And then somebody that's just conducive to your situation.
Yeah.
But you have all the normal rights that a normal homeowner has.
Yeah.
And you certainly have the right to a clean, safe environment.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because it's like EMAP through ISK is, I don't want to call it an insurance program, but it sort of is for major emergencies and disasters. So meaning anything that is significant enough that it would affect, more than just one home, and is maybe considered something where, the normal resources of that community can't manage what has to be done. And, during the restoration process, if you go to a house for, say, like a flood, and you find mold in the basement, and you're doing restoration for that flood, the mold has to be abated.
100%.
Yeah, even if that mold is not from that flood. Absolutely. Under EMAP, it's got to be. Yeah, and same with wildfire smoke. Even if a community didn't have the wildfire come into the community, even if the fire didn't touch the house, if a window was left open during evacuation, right, and that house got infiltrated with smoke, EMAP will pay to restore that home fully and all of the contents in it. That's what you guys do.
Yes.
Yeah. And that includes cleaning soft goods like bed sheets, towels, quilts, blankets, carpets, replacing items that can't be cleaned or refurbished. And I think it even includes, like we were looking at that equipment there, looking for other moisture problems around the house, right? To deal with anything that might still be unseen, right? Yeah. That's kind of where you're at.
100%.
Yeah. Okay, so this is a freezer.
Yeah, this is a walk-in cooler or freezer that we'll use for a couple different things. We'll use it for freeze-drying documents that are vital, that need to be recreated. Another thing we can do is if we have pelts or anything like that, those can be freeze-dried instead of dealt with chemically.
Okay.
And then we can decide what we're doing with there. So taxidermy things, pelts and such like that.
Like the process we just talked about with the freeze drying. Because I know you guys too at Little Red, you took care of some of their special items like wall hanging, ceremonial things. Like you guys, I think, took those out of the community with liaison, and then they came into town to be specially cleaned and handled. So if someone's got like a 100-year-old pipe or a hand drum that they made or it was passed down, how do you work with nations to manage all that?
Well, essentially, we're going to figure out first if they have a vendor that they like to use on that stuff. And if not, then we've got the people here that are going to research who's best to deal with that.
Yeah.
In the meantime, we just need to preserve that item.
Right.
So if it's wet, we may be putting it in the freezer to preserve it until such time that we can get the right plan of action.
Yeah.
Whatever the case may be, our mandate is we have to preserve those items no matter what.
Yeah.
Until we can figure out the best plan of action.
Right. So for First Nations, you have the ability to assign either an elder, a knowledge keeper, or a cultural liaison to restoration companies to help manage the process of any ceremonial items, regalia, or any other items that you might have handed down through generations, because it's super important that they get handled with care. And that's why you want to bring in an organization that understands the cultural significance of all of that and is willing to do the things that need to be done, including smudging those items before they leave and before they come back into a home or a community. So especially around schools, right? Because they've got schools can have so many cultural artifacts. Mm-hmm. If a school gets exposed to wildfire smoke, you don't just take those things off the wall, wipe them down. There's some special care that has to go in with it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
They're not replaceable.
Yeah.
And they should be treated as so.
Yeah. Okay, so what do we have in here?
This is our soft contents cleaning division. So this is our washers, our dryers that we use for our commercial stuff. We also have the Sporto over there for larger, harder, soft contents that need to be cleaned. And then behind you, we have the ozone water system that we run everything through in order to deodorize stuff when we're cleaning it.
Okay.
So the actual water is injected with ozone during the cleaning process. So it's not just cleaning with normal soap and water.
Right. And yeah, you guys, you probably find lots of sports equipment in basements.
Lots of sports equipment. That's exactly what the Esporta is for.
Okay.
Actually, you could put a whole hockey bag in that machine. You're not going to damage the gear or the machine.
Okay.
Because it's compartmentalized.
Right on.
Yeah, so actually we could put, I believe, don't quote me on this, but I think we could put 6 different bags of hockey gear in that machine at one time, all in their own compartment, and run it all at the same time.
Okay, so this is what you can put hockey bags into.
Hockey gear, yeah.
Hockey gear.
Yeah.
And you set up to 6 hockey bags.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Okay. So jerseys, gloves,
knee pads,
anything?
shin pads, shoulder pads, everything.
That's awesome.
Helmets.
Yeah, because I think about how much hockey equipment sits in people's basements and can get flooded.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't, like, that equipment gets broken in. Like, and if you don't have insurance, the Emergency Management Assistance Program through Indigenous Services Canada does not necessarily reimburse First Nations people for sports equipment because it's considered a hobby. So First Nations having the ability to get all that equipment that they've invested in professionally cleaned after a flood, especially sewer backup, it's going to save them a lot of money.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it doesn't need to be replaced.
Right, it doesn't need to be replaced.
And-
Yeah. Okay, that's totally cool.
This one doesn't.
You can even get them to press your suits, your Sunday best, shirts.
Explain to Brad what we do here.
So this is your drying room. Those tubes are mainly for shoes, for
Oh, yeah.
drying shoes and that, so it will dry out easily.
Okay. What is this for?
So this tank is the soaker. So this primarily is the tank that we put in the contents first. So it'll soak for maybe 1 or 2 minutes to just soften up. Like example for fires, we gotta soften up the
Right.
soot and everything, the dirt in it. And this is the ultrasonic.
So is that like the dentist when they do the ultrasonic on your teeth?
Kind of, yeah. So it's once this is powered, the bubbles will implode,
Okay.
and that's the one that cleans.
And it cleans
basically,
things gently,
yes.
like without damage.
Yes,
Yeah,
without
okay.
damage. Yeah, it's our drying chamber.
Very cool.
And then packaging. Once it comes out from the drying chamber, it gets packaged in here.
It's like a big dishwasher.
Yes.
Portable fire line system that we can take to site if we need to.
So this is a fire line system you can take, it's mobile, you can take it on reserve.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, okay.
So back here we keep all of our dehumidifiers and air movers. So down below is all dehumidifiers.
Wow.
Up top is air movers. They're always used in conjunction with each other.
So if we were looking at a restoration in a First Nations community of, say, a couple hundred homes, this is the inventory that you would access, right, to bring on site.
Yes, and we also have another couple sea cans in our backyard full of air scrubbers. So this is just a small portion of our air scrubbers
Okay.
that we have. We also have more air movers and such. And
So-
in conjunction with that, we have a 44-foot disaster trailer that's also filled with equipment
Okay.
to mobilize at a moment's notice
Okay.
to any community in Canada.
So what would be the purpose of say an air scrubber during a restoration for like a wildfire evacuation where maybe the house wasn't burned down, but it had extreme smoke exposure?
So there's a couple different reasons to have it. One is to have, when you're going to have people in there doing the restoration, you're going to be using these to clean the air.
Yeah.
Also, we will add charcoal filters to these to scrub the air. It'll take the particulate out of the air, and as it's scrubbing it, the charcoal filter will help take care of the odor in the home as well.
Okay.
In conjunction with cleaning and furnaces and ducts and such like that. They're not
Okay.
just a one-stop thing, but they really help the whole process along.
Sure.
They help keep the facility healthier while the work's going on, pre and post.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So for me, this is the kind of equipment that First Nations need to have access to quickly after a flood, a wildfire, even if it's a small flood from a water pipe leak from frozen pipes. If there's a power outage in the winter, this is the kind of equipment that needs to be brought into the community very quickly in large numbers, especially if we're talking, 300, 400, 500 homes.
Storage pods for customers' contents. Once it's been all cleaned and it's stored, waiting for the restoration process, we can store it right here inside. It's secans, so we can also store it on the people's properties if we need to. It just gives us a lot of leeway of where we can store stuff and how we can store stuff.
Is having, storage like this available to a homeowner that has items that they want to keep as part of their claim in their person, they can come here, get one of these. They can be on site at the house. You're not having to go and rent a storage facility in another community that could be hours away. You've got some capability to keep your own items on person. So I love that, because so many people were renting storage units in a high level for Little Red. Just driving back and forth to those storage units every couple of days was a lot.
This is our cabinetry department. So we have our own cabinet making shop. What we found in the restoration process is long lead items like flooring and cabinets were a problem. Well, flooring you can't really get around because that's a manufacturer's thing. But we thought if we could manufacture our own cabinets in-house, we could speed up the process a lot. So this is a CNC machine here. Cuts out everything that we need. Nick just punches it into the computer over there, spits out the parts and pieces that he needs in order to build the boxes. We don't build doors here. It's not economical, and there's so many different doors. So we'll purchase doors and they're readily available. So that makes that process easy.
This is one aspect that I really appreciated about Premier, because having gone through a home renovation, a kitchen renovation myself, I know that having multiple subcontractors have to do different things. It can be quite taxing to project manage, and the fact that they can do custom cabinetry in their shop while they know the layout of your home, the makeup of your home, the kind of furniture you have, your color choices, that is going to expedite the restoration process and the rebuild process tenfold, because you're not having to go and track down a cabinet maker. You've got the ability to work directly with the same company that's doing all the restoration and renovations for your home.
And this is just an indication, if we talk about colors and choices and stuff, this is just edge banding to give you a little indication of all the different options there are.
Yeah. With you. Okay, this one is a moisture
meter. That's
moisture meter.
Moisture meter. It's got 3 different settings: one for wood, one for drywall, and one for brick.
So you just run it along the wall, and it will find moisture in.
That's right.
In a house. Okay.
Yeah, you're gonna run that down the wall and find how high it's wicked up.
Okay.
You're gonna verify it with an infrared camera.
There's water on your table.
Yeah. You're gonna verify it with your infrared camera.
Okay, so that is a legit FLIR.
Yeah.
They even house these on drones and police helicopters.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that'll give you an infrared sign.
And then just a laser measure for accuracy.
I thought it was a stud finder. You notice it didn't beep?
Yeah.
Oh, laser. Okay, yeah. And then what's this one? Oh, this is
That's
the camera for the docu-sketch.
Yeah, so we just set it up.
Yeah, explain this, because this is super cool.
Essentially what we do is we set it up on the tripod. We go through each and every room.
Yep.
It does a 360 view, so we'll take a couple shots in each room.
Yep.
It'll map out the whole location, either the home or the facility. And so then we have a digital rendering of exactly what it looked like when we walked in the door. We'll do a couple of those throughout the loft to show progress and finished product. The other thing it can do is we can order a sketch. So I can go through a whole school with this thing. I upload it and I order the sketch, and within a day I'll have a sketched floor plan with measurements on there.
Yeah, these are awesome because one, when you go into a home, it helps with trust, because people can access these pictures, right? Like a homeowner can see what their house looked like before you went in, or when you went in, and then after. So if there's any questions about, you guys didn't do this or you caused new damage, you'll have a photo evidence of it. And then the fact that you can take all this information, even the layout and the measurements of a home, and pass that on to housing managers so they have detailed blueprints of a house, that kind of, I think, helps them be in a position where if something happens to that house again in the future, they can pull those records, they know the room, the measurements, and they can start to plan a lot more quickly.
Yeah, it sure makes scoping a whole lot easier of the loss.
Yeah.
Like right to the details of, we set the height of the room when we set it up.
Yep.
We set all the parameters up, and then the camera does everything for us after that. If somebody says, hey, I had this leather jacket, and you're like, yeah, absolutely, we can see that leather jacket here.
Right.
It's in our photos. We're gonna find that thing.
Awesome.
Where is it?
Awesome. Cool. Tell me a little bit about this trailer.
So this is our disaster recovery trailer that we have sitting waiting all the time.
And that's where you've got all the humidifiers, fans.
Yeah, so we don't keep dehues in here in the winter just because they'll freeze, but we've got air scrubbers, air movers, ladders, anything that we would need to go to a site. And I mean, pretty much the guys can take stuff out, put new stuff in, depending on what kind of claim we're going to.
Okay.
But it's just, we took this to Jasper after the wildfires. Works out really good. You got a home base and an office.
So for you, and I know you kind of mentioned this earlier, but what is it about the restoration process that is rewarding for you?
Well, for me, we're not building something new. We're taking something that's been broken. We're taking somebody's home, somebody's facility, somebody's business, and we're fixing it. We're making it whole again.
Right.
That's very satisfying. You're helping people along the way of building revenue for your business. And I mean, I'm in business to make money, but I'm also in business to fill my heart.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
This does it.
Well, you can't have what you have in terms of staff and equipment and space without revenue.
That's right.
Right. And for now, that's just how the world works, right? But yeah, I found it really rewarding to know that, like, during some of the wildfire restoration, that, you know, there were homes that hadn't had their furnace cleaned for probably a decade or ever. Mm-hmm. And in the community, it's all roads, all gravel roads. There's a lot of dust. Like, we saw furnace cold air intake vents that, when you took the front cover off, had layers of dust and dirt. And, you know, I actually sent photos of that to the First Nations Inuit Health Branch medical director, right? And like, even though you show these things to them, their support is still really minimal, right? From a health side, which is disappointing. And so being able to go into a community and to be able to provide that service and that cleaning, even though it's not related to the wildfire, we can do that. It's amazing. Well, it's like what you guys did in Smith's Landing. You were able to test all the water cisterns and clean their tanks.
Which had never been done. Yeah.
And Indigenous Services Canada gave their blessing to pay for the water testing through their health division, because it was something they'd wanted done for a while. And so we were able to find that opportunity while you were there to give everyone in that community a sanitized and clean water cistern.
Well, for us, that's peace of mind, because we're walking away knowing that we're giving a clean facility, a healthy facility,
right,
to live in. Now it's up to them to maintain it, but we've got a baseline that is really good.
Yeah, yeah. So there's a lot in this process that I think, you know, housing inspectors, housing managers, on reserve housing teams, even emergency management coordinators, even chief and councils and band directors can get out of a little bit more of a holistic understanding about what restoration is and what capability and capacity an organization like you has in terms of mobilizing equipment up to their community, getting the equipment that they need on site, so a house isn't sitting in water or fire damage for longer than it has to.
Yeah, which is vital for both.
Yeah.
soot from fires etches things.
Yeah.
It etches glass. It
Okay.
etches into things.
Yeah.
It's very damaging.
Right.
Not to mention the carcinogens in our lungs and all that jazz. Well, anytime you walk through that house before a restoration process, if there is soot and char in there,
Yeah.
you're making that all airborne.
Yeah.
That's not good. And as far as water goes, clean water right out of the tap within 24 hours is considered gray water.
Yeah.
In 72 hours is considered black water. Now
Yeah.
it's changed. There's categories of water now and not colors of water, but that's kind of
Yeah.
simplifying it a little bit for
Yeah.
people to understand.
Yeah.
And well, black water is no different than the stuff that's in your toilet after you've used it.
Right.
It's sewer water.
Yeah.
So it's vital, not just for the building, but for the health and safety of the occupants of that
Yeah.
building, that things are done properly.
Yeah.
And the beautiful thing about restoration and working for both insurance companies, or if it's an EMAP thing, an ISK thing, is there's no corners cut. That's the beauty of our business in restoration.
Yeah.
You're dealing with people's assets, you're dealing with their lives, you're dealing with their health and safety.
Yeah.
So it's not an option to ever cut a corner.
Yeah.
You're not hiring a guy off of Kijiji to build a fence that's just going to use a little subpar materials or something like that.
Yeah.
With the restoration process, you're always going to get back the equal product or better. And it's probably going to
Yeah.
be better because of its newer technology, and it was a used item prior
Yeah.
to that. Quite
And you will, if the opportunity is there, because I think you've said this in the past, but if a nation brings you in, especially on a large recovery, and they've got people in the community willing to work, you can take them on for specific jobs.
Absolutely. And it's actually something that we bring up every nation that we work on.
Yeah.
Do they have people that are qualified to do this work? And or if it's an unqualified position, first right of refusal is to use the local people first.
So a qualified position would be like testing water or abatement of something.
Or maybe a carpenter.
Carpenter.
Or a plumber. Or
So you need their
something like
tickets,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, a ticketed item.
Yeah.
If they've got those people on nation, we've hired people before from the nations to do
Okay.
those things for the longevity of the project. And some of them we've even kept on, and they've stayed with the companies that because we're dealing with mechanical companies, electrical companies, flooring, stuff like that.
Right.
So there's lots of different options there to try and find a spot for people
Sure.
to help the cause.
Okay. And I mean, and First Nations can get insurance, because I think you deal with a lot of schools that are insured and other nation buildings, right?
That's right.
And I think, though, the difference is those facilities are kind of managed by different departments, not housing. So like a school would be through education, or a nursing station, if it has insurance, would be through health. And maybe, in your experience, like the facilities people for the schools, they're used to insurance, I would imagine, and restoration. And maybe even if in a nation, if it's, the director of projects and infrastructure, they're probably working with insurance. But I think the housing managers, again, are kind of isolated from that process. But you can work with nations on their commercial insured assets too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Absolutely. Residential, commercial facilities.
Okay, yeah, I didn't want to leave that out, because I don't want people to think that you're just homes and houses. You're commercial. You can do insured and non-insured, paid through insurance, or paid through EMAP, or paid by the band directly with like non-government funds or something like that.
Yeah, essentially is if it's a building
Yeah,
with contents in it or
Yeah.
no contents in it, we can deal with it. Whether I'll deal with a garden shed, or we'll deal with large 20, 30, 40,000 square foot buildings.
yeah. And I like that. For me, that's the message I want, right? Is I want on reserve homeowners and members, elders, families to know that following an evacuation, a flood, a wildfire, anything that can cause contamination or damage to a home, you don't have to return back to that home just for the sake of returning to it. You can return to a clean and safe home. You can be part of the process of that restoration, right?
you should
be part of it.
a clean and safe home.
Yeah, even if it's a nation-owned
everybody's
house.
right.
Right, even if it's a nation-owned house, the homeowner should be part of the process in that restoration.
Absolutely, it's no different than us doing an apartment building.
Yeah,
We're dealing with each individual door as a different owner or
Right.
tenant, and they're involved in the process.
Right.
There's scheduling, there's planning, there's scope.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the scope together.
yeah,
It's got to be an open book with everybody, right from the end user
yeah,
to if it's a government entity or an insurance company, everything is an open book. Everything is very transparent.
yeah,
And let's face it, communication is the key to everything,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Every single thing that we do, if we communicate it properly, it goes well.
Yeah.
If we don't, it doesn't. Just call and ask my wife.
Have you?
Communicate properly, life's good.
Yeah, we'll see. I'll ask her. What have you made it to any Oilers games this season
No. Oh, I went to one. Yeah, actually.
before Skinner left?
Yeah.
Oh, how was it? Who really played? Do you remember?
I don't even remember. No, I can't remember who we played.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to my first game on Thursday.
Oh, who are they playing on Thursday? Do you know? What is it? The 14th today? I don't know who it is.
Is it Crosby's team?
Pittsburgh?
I think maybe.
Skinner's coming back to play in Edmonton? Maybe.
Is he?
Well, he got traded there, right? He got traded to Pittsburgh.
Oh, yes.
Stuart Skinner.
yes.
So, okay. Cool.
I thought you meant there was some other thing going on that I didn't know about. I was like,
no.
What? No.
Crosby's coming to Edmonton.
Yeah.
No, he's gonna play. Cool.
I appreciate this. I've never done anything like this. I'm so interested to see.
Yeah.
Now this makes me want to do the podcast.
Well, it's kind of what we're doing.
Yeah.
On a like in a, it's still gonna be coined as a podcast.
That's cool. Didn't sleep last night.
What? Really?